to be talking about retaliation and culture. And we're going to start off by talking about what retaliation is. It's a hot button issue right now.
Very big.
It's really big in the news. Yeah. Retaliation, whistleblowing is in the news, and we want to give you these resources so that you can, if you're an employee, you can feel comfortable, and then also if you're an employer, that you can protect your organization
and your staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece here. So it's like retaliation can ruin the culture within your organization. How do you prevent that from happening?
Right. So not even talking about it from a legal, my company should not have done this, it was illegal point of view, but also culturally.
Because we all know about that stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's in a lot of our trainings.
Look at you, right out the training.
I know, I'm on your good side today. What can and can't happen to you as an employee legally. So we hear about that in our annual trainings, but I think it's maybe not often talked about. There is some subtle retaliation that can go on too, just on like coworker to coworker level. That's not necessarily like legally protected.
Right.
That can ruin a workplace.
So I worked in a company one time where we talked a lot about what you can do or cannot do versus should or shouldn't do.
Great comparison.
Yeah, so you cannot retaliate against somebody for any kind of discriminatory or diversity or equal opportunity kind of commission.
Right. So like religion, ethnicity, anything that has to do with like if someone refused any sort of sexual advance.
Right, any kind of harassment.
Yeah, you can't retaliate against them because they didn't let you like brush on their shoulder.
Exactly, but you also, on the other, that's the can and can't, right? You can't retaliate against anybody for bringing up those concerns, but you should not retaliate against anybody for bringing up any concerns.
I think that any reporting mechanism an organization has, whether it just be kind of an open door policy with the HR department or management, or something as helpful as a hotline or an online reporting source, can be like the reputation of that reporting mechanism can be destroyed through one bad example or like one bad story about retaliation.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like hit the legal definition of discrimination or harassment. It's anything.
Yeah.
So just to clarify things, retaliation can include any negative job action. So some examples of that are demotion, discipline, firing, salary adjustments, or like a shift reassignment. Those are examples of a negative, purposeful job action. And we were talking back and forth. Those are really drastic, obvious examples.
Other people see it happening.
Exactly. But retaliation can also be really subtle too, right? And you were telling me about example in the hotline that you experienced.
Yeah, we hear about retaliation a lot within the hotline, just different calls within the different industries that we service. So an example, this is one that I've even heard like multiple times, but broad example within the healthcare industry, say that Tammy had to call off because her son was sick one day. And as a result of that, everyone else on Tammy's team and her unit had to work later than they otherwise would have to compensate for her workload. When Tammy returned from work, or from her leave with her son back to work, she noticed that like the environment of teamwork that her team used to have for her and with her was gone, whereas normally her team would maybe like watch out for her patients if she was helping out.
Answer some call bells.
Yeah. They were ignoring all her patients' call bells and, didn't answer someone's request for a juice or something, like making her job harder than it was before she called out.
Right. So making the work environment noticeably uncomfortable for someone.
Yeah. And I think that that's subtle, maybe management doesn't see that. Like, as a manager, I would see if a scheduler made Tammy work on her birthday.
It's not like, somebody messed with my pay or, took some job responsibilities that are mine away from me.
Noticeably changing your role.
Exactly.
So I think that these subtle things probably happen quite often. And from the employer's perspective, someone in compliance or HR who, should be and is looking out for these things, those are the hard ones to find.
Yeah, the subtle covert ones.
But they're the ones that really ruin employees' perception of their workplace.